You know, I'm almost not quite sure where to start with this. But basically, if you really, really suck at something, should you pursue it? Should you try to improve? Is there any hope for you? There's a man named Vinnie Favale that I want to introduce you to. That is Vinnie right there.
Thanks, Steve.
Vinnie, I'm going to talk to you in a minute for an hour. But I want to bring up, first of all, Exhibit A in the indictment against Vincent Favale.
I didn't have a clue. I picked you up at 10, and to a fault you acquired. I didn't know it then that I was off your diet. You said you needed time to think for yourself. Well, all the time you were thinking about somebody else.
Look at Tom. You should be waiting.
So, Vinnie,
wait a second. I'm singing.
Vinnie, could you explain to us, first of all, is that music?
First of all, I love your intro to this segment. If something sucks, should we keep at it? I don't know what you're implying here. This looks like we're on a current affair. What is this? I love this. Hi, Steve.
Okay, Vinnie, thank you for being here. But quite seriously, what was that? The song is called Restless, Restless. You wrote that song?
Well, in my defense, Tom Gesimundo also wrote it. Yes, it is the worst song ever written, performed. I acknowledge that. But that was a long time ago.
When did you write that song?
Over 30 years ago, 1980.
Okay, now the reason that song is important, beyond just making fun of you and playing it over and over again, which I do want to go back to it just for a second.
Someone else is taking my place. What's his name? What's his name? What's his name? Restless, restless. It happens all the time. I love you. I love you.
I mean, come on. It never gets old. Okay, the reason that song, Restless, Restless, is important is that 25 years later, you, Vincent Favale, redeemed yourself in an unbelievable way. And I'm going to go now to Exhibit B, which is this.
Restless, restless.
They need an answer, they need a sign. They need to know if they're wasting their time.
Please tell me now, I have regrets. It's a matter of life and death.
I need to know if she still feels the pain. I need to know if she still feels the same.
I'll wait on that, I'll hold my breath. Cause it's a matter of life and death.
Life and death. We're all lost souls with dreams we can't forget.
So, Vinnie.
Wow.
You wrote that?
Yes, shockingly.
I mean, that's sort of the point here, the trajectory, the journey from Restless, Restless to a musical that you have written called Hereafter. And this is, this will, for my life, really be one of the great mysteries that I'm not sure we're going to figure this out in this hour, that we're going to be able to answer the question of how you go from Restless, Restless to Hereafter the musical, and we're going to hear a lot of this music. And I got to tell you, Vinnie, I'm driving up here in the car on the West Side Highway and on the Palisades, and I got the CD in the car playing the entire thing because I haven't listened to it for a while, and I am singing like a wild man. I can't stop. It is the greatest music. Hence, this unbelievable mind. I don't want to say the word, but how do you go from Restless? How do you go from Restless, Restless to this musical that you have written?
It's actually, it's funny that it seems completely absurd and almost a joke that we would start the show off this way, but it actually makes a lot of sense, and it's a big part of the story, or at least the journey, how you can go from that horrible, horrible demo that song's a 30-year-old song that was featured on the Howard Stern show. We should remind people. But I could correlate the road from that song and the Howard Stern show directly to Hereafter. Howard did a contest, rightfully calling that the worst song he's ever heard. He did a contest, I believe it was like 2002. It was a while ago, and he he got over 1,000 submissions of people that recorded that song, and they did an amazing job. Not because the song was any good; the song's horrible. Their only restriction was they had to use those horrible lyrics, but they could do it in any style. And it coincided with the death of DJ Wheeler.
And that's key here. You have written a musical, and the musical is about essentially death.
Right, and I'll give you the quick trajectory from that to where we are today. So DJ Wheeler was a teenager who I didn't know him or his family at the time, but I read about it in the paper. He died in a car accident where he was with some other kids in a car, and it happened nearby. I read about it in the paper. I saw the roadside memorial on the tree, the week after, and it haunted me for a long time. It's up there on the screen. Driving by that every weekend, I would see that, and it was just a reminder how fragile life is. It got me thinking about mortality and losses in my life, and it inspired me to write a song called 19. Now, this was in 2003, the Howard Stern contest that happened the year earlier. Wrote the song called 19, and it came out really, really good, but I didn't quite know what to do with it or what to do after I had written the song. But what happened was I had this amazing list of friends I had made through the Restless contest on the Howard Stern show. Among them, Pat Barry from upstate New York and Eric Gardner from Texas. And I reached out to them. I reached out to Pat first, and I said, Pat, I got the song called 19. Would you indulge me if I sing it to you? I know exactly where I need it to go, what the melody is, and the lyrics. And if I sing this to you, would you indulge me and just record it, just even on a guitar? And Pat did that, and it came out beautifully.
And so, Vinnie, let's listen for a second to 19.
Okay.
It's weird to think that I've been gone now for 30 years. Time sure does fly when you're dead. Dying young does have its perks. I mean, look at me, I look great. The saddest part of dying is what I left behind. Actually, who I left behind. My mom is just as much frozen in time as I am. If there's one message that I could send her, it's that she shouldn't feel sorry for me. Sure, the fact that I died so young forced me to miss out on a lot of things. But I still experienced my fair share of life in the short amount of time that I had. In fact, I would say that on balance, I didn't make out so bad. I never really fell in love, but I had the Beatles. I didn't get to play the field, but I could play guitar. I never got to see the world, but I met its maker.
Okay, so
that's awesome. This is your life, Vinnie Favale. Did I just die?
And in fact, that young man, Pierce, who sings that, we're going to talk to him in just a second. But Vinnie, one of the keys, I think, to this whole thing that is almost inexplicable is that people should know that you come from a comedy background. You are a big deal in the comedy business. That's what you do for a living. I mean, you essentially have spent your life dealing with silliness and jokes.
Well, I'd argue with the fact that I'm a powerful person in the comedy business, but yes, I've worked in comedy for the past 25 years, going back to Comedy Channel and Comedy Central, and now with the Late Show with David Letterman.
Okay, so how do you then all of a sudden transition to writing musicals about death?
I know. You know what? I think it chose me. I didn't choose it. It's not something I would recommend anyone get into doing. But, I think you'd find, I don't call myself a comedian, but I think you'll find that a lot of people in the comedy world are probably some of the most serious people out there. Like some of Woody Allen's, best movies are serious. They're not comedies. But, it's like, none of this is calculated. It's just life. It's, we've all experienced our share of ups and downs in life. and I focused on a down period of my life, of the losses in my life. And then I guess I, you know, with Frankie Keane, I don't know if you have her on the phone yet.
We're going to talk to Frankie in a
good,
moment.
good. But basically, Frankie and I, when we got together on this, because it really became a reality for me when Frankie came on board in 2008. That's when we actually wrote the show together, and you know, all the demos came to life because now I had a true partner on this. But you know, none of this is by design. It's like a Ouija board. We just kind of went out there and said, where's life going to take us? And it took us down this path. And I must say, the show does have a fair share amount of laughs in it, too. It's not completely serious as the subject matter is.
Absolutely. So, Vinnie, we have Pierce, who is here. We're going to add Pierce in. Pierce, let me just ask you plainly.
Wait a second. Can I just say something? It looks like Pierce and I are in like space. We're just floating in space.
We're on a green screen.
Where's my Tang?
What's going on behind you, Vinny? What's all that?
Oh, that's my
a very good
Beatles
question.
book library. Is that cool?
Okay.
So Pierce, let me ask you. Somebody obviously came to you and said, listen, Vinnie Favale has written a musical about death, and he wants you to sing a song, principally, I guess, 19. What was your reaction?
Well, I actually auditioned for the show. So I was brought in for an audition with Vinny, and I think it was just you that day, wasn't it?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you did. I think Wonderwall from Oasis.
Yeah, I brought in my guitar. I sang a song on the guitar, sang another song at the piano, I think. Our music director, Bill Hinden, at the time was there. I think at the audition. Anyway,
no, he was absolutely, and yeah, I mean, you did your homework because you knew what we were looking for, and you came in with the guitar, which was great. That wasn't even called for that, but you were fantastic.
Thank you, Vinny.
You still are fantastic, even if you're on the moon.
But Pierce, what did you? I mean, you've heard Restless. Can you explain any of this to us?
My favorite thing about Restless is the clicking.
That's right.
I'm a human click track.
Yeah.
By the way, Vinny, just so I don't forget, the other guy in the video in Restless,
Right.
Who is
Tom
that?
Gismondo. That's Tom Gismondo.
And so he bears how much of the blame here?
I think he's 50%. I think he should be blamed for letting me get behind the mic. He should have strangled me.
And you know what? Somebody, Birdie in my ear, Tom, in the background here, made a very good suggestion that it is now time once again to hear Restless.
Within that I was off your diet.
Off your diet.
You said you needed time to think for yourself. Well, all the time you were thinking about somebody else. Now I can tell by the look that's on your face that someone else is taking my place. What's his name?
Okay. So one of the things.
What's going on?
One of the things that I think we're about to get to is, and this is another facet of this. How do you go from Restless to an unbelievable musical, and I mean spectacular musical that you have written?
With Frankie Keane.
That you co-wrote.
Right.
With Frankie Keane.
Was not here for some strange reason.
Yeah. You know what? She'll be. You know what? I think we're going to have her in a second. But
okay.
But the thing about Restless is that during that contest, correct me if I'm wrong, on the Howard Stern show, Robert Goulet, of all people, responded and in fact put together a rendition of Restless,
right,
that vindicated you. It was spectacular.
But I got into a fight with him, if you remember.
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, when we did the most ridiculous moment of my life, it was the contest. It was when we had to pick the top three, and Mr. Goulet was one of the was in the top three with an amazing arrangement, a very Sinatra style version.
Incredible.
But if you listen to the nuance of the lyrics to Restless, the song is about a guy whose heart was broken by this woman, and it happens all the time. They love you, they like you, then they change their mind. If you listen to Robert Goulet's version, oh my God, it sounds like he's the one dumping the girl. It was like all wrong, and I told him that, and he got upset with me.
So Pierce, let me ask you, Pierce. The guy who wrote Restless, now has written the
Yeah, we
musical.
get it. That song sucked. I wrote Hereafter.
Listen, it never gets old. It never gets old.
Are we going to belabor this?
Pierce, how do you go from comedy, intended or not, to writing this unbelievably emotional and heart-wrenching musical? What do you make of this, Pierce?
I think, like a lot of things, it comes from the writer's personal experience. So with Frankie, Vinnie was able to channel the loss that he experienced in his own life to write an honest and an earnest musical. And like Vinnie was saying, it's not just it's not a downer. You have laughs that kind of bring you out of the pain within the show, which I think is great because it provides some relief from the grief that assume a show that's a little bit dark.
Time to hear a little bit more quickly
But
of 19.
I love being involved in it, and I love being able to sing.
Time sure does fly when you're dead. You know, dying young does have its perks. I mean, look at me. I look great. The saddest part of dying is what I left behind. Actually, who I left behind. My mom is just as much frozen in time as I am. If there's one message that I could send her, it's that she shouldn't feel sorry for me. Sure, the fact that I died so young forced me to miss out on a lot of things. But I still experienced my fair share of life in the short amount of time that I had. In fact, I would say that on balance, I didn't make out so bad. I never really fell in love, but I had the Beatles. I didn't get to play the field, but I could play guitar. I never got to see the world, but I met its maker.
Pierce, can you sing a little bit more of that for me right now?
I never got to sing my song, wish she could hear me now. I am 19, I am 19. I was 19 when I died. Forever
Pierce,
you will see
it's
me.
beautiful. Vinnie, was 19 specifically...
Thanks.
Was 19 specifically about DJ Wheeler, or is it a composite?
You know, he was the inspiration for the song, clearly. But I didn't know him, and I didn't know his life, at least at that point. So, you know, the whole Beatles reference, what I did was I literally, I tried to, you know, imagine if I had died at 19. There's a fun thought. You wouldn't have had Restless. But I imagined if I had died, I was born in 59, so if I died at the age of 19, I did kind of a laundry list of pros and cons. Well, I didn't fall in love up until that point, but I did love the Beatles. And so lyrically, it's about my life, but very much inspired by DJ.
Vinnie, we have Frankie Keane, who is here with us. Frankie, thank you for...
Frankie.
Thank
Frankie,
you for...
no, move over, Frankie, the other way.
Yeah, we're...
The other way.
There we go.
More, there you go.
Frankie, how did you meet Vinnie? How did this come together?
How did this come together? Well, I was found through a want ad, Steve. Vinnie found
on
me
Backstage.
backstage.com. So, sorry, I
So
just a little bit of a delay, but anyway.
Okay, so had you heard his music? Had you heard
No,
Restless before this?
No, I knew nothing about Vinnie at all.
That's why she got involved.
Which is probably why I stayed with the project.
Wait, let's let Frankie adjust her camera. Frankie, adjust your camera.
I'm trying.
Go the other way, the other way, the other way. More. No, the other way. The other way.
There we are. Stay right there, Frankie.
Are you on an iPad or on the computer?
I'm on an iPad.
Okay, so try not to look at the monitor. It's tricky. Look at where the camera is.
I got it. I'm
There
there.
you go. Perfect.
So, Frankie, Vinnie comes to you with this music about the hereafter, and what do you think? I mean, this guy has no business writing music, at least.
Oh my God.
I mean,
Steven, you praised me and then you buried me within like 10 seconds. I love it.
No, but I mean,
love you.
based on what we heard, based on what we knew of Vinnie writing music, he should have been outlawed and tried for crimes against humanity.
Yeah.
But then he comes up with this music with you, which to this day hits me like this.
Aww.
Steve,
Yeah,
you
it's
do
it's really it was really kind of serendipitous and odd because we were on the phone. He had reached out through Backstage, and my boyfriend actually did a background check. He's like, yeah, some guy's trying to get in touch with you. Says he's from CBS, and so I took it to my friend Mike, and turns out Mike vouched for Vinny. So it was at that point I decided it would be safe to call, and he wasn't a real weirdo. But yeah, so I called him, and we were literally on the phone until our phones died because we just connected so strongly in such a short amount of time. It was kind of strange. And then my boyfriend and I took my dog down to the shore that weekend, but we never made it to the shore. We stopped at his house and stayed.
They're still here.
It's
Locked in my basement.
But Vinny, was your music? I mean, this musical, was it together when you presented to Frankie, or were you still very tentative about it?
It was still very raw. What I had the rough idea, which was it was taking place at the home of a psychic, but it had more characters that's in the show now. It didn't have all the songs written. The songs were in a rough demo form, and basically they were just a lot of single vocals, no backgrounds. And when Frankie came on board, we went from the idea to the actual script. We did that together, but all the songs came to life because Frankie is not only a great singer, she's a great songwriter on her own, and she helped produce with me all the demos and did all the vocal arrangements and helped me find background singers, and it really came to life.
So Tommy, let me ask you. We have How Will She Remember Me? We have Waiting. Frankie, are you in either one of Waiting or How Will She Remember Me?
Yeah, I'm doing all the backgrounds on all.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's listen. Where can we
put on How Will She
remember me, and where
Producer Media.
Producer Media. Here we go.
How will she see me when I can't see myself? Was I the best I could be, or was I someone else?
With a single word, I could ease her mind. She is getting old, and I'm just wasting time.
I wonder what she is thinking. What memory does she hold dear? A lifetime in just one sentence. We have to make a choice.
There we go.
Should we reveal ourselves? And will it mean the difference between heaven and hell? How will she remember me?
Frankie,
How will she
can you
remember
join in
me?
on singing this part?
Yeah.
Come on, Steve.
But I'm doing all of the track.
I'm sorry, I missed that. One more time, Frankie.
You don't see me in the video, but I am doing all of the vocals on that track, all the background vocals.
And in fact, I saw Vinny invited me to one of your rehearsals a couple of months ago, and you were front and center there, and I swear to God, I thought it was Motown. I mean, it was spectacular.
That's on Sunday.
Thank
you.
you.
You should play someday, Steve.
So,
You should
yeah,
play the song someday.
Wait,
I don't know whether we have. I don't think we have
I can
someday,
get up Sunday in 1 minute.
but we may get to that.
Steve, are you wearing pants, or is that just a suit, jacket, and tie? You have pants on, right?
You know, I am so square that I do have pants on.
You have pants on. I'm not wearing any pants on.
TMI.
Wearing a bra.
Very nice.
So am I.
Very nice. Okay, Vinny, your buddies on the show where you work.
Right.
What do they make? I mean,
My buddies?
you know, what do you
colleagues.
what do they make of
Buddies. They have been insanely supportive. If by my colleagues, my friends at CBS and the Late Show with David Letterman, incredible. They have been supportive on so many ways. Generous with their money when we did the Kickstarter campaign 3 years ago. They helped us get to like $70,000 to raise money to do that first run of the show, and they've all come to the show a bunch of times over the years. They're incredible. I'm very blessed.
We want to get Pierce up for a second because he's going to leave. But Pierce, try as you may or as we may to explain one final time where is this?
It's not the Kennedy assassination. You don't have to figure it out. Okay?
Garrison, was that the district attorney? That's me. No, but Pierce, where is this going? Is anything capable of stopping Hereafter the musical?
Nothing is capable of stopping Vinnie, and as a result, nothing is capable of stopping Hereafter musical.
That's right.
And I cannot tell you what a dream it's been to work with Vinnie on this show. And I think I speak for the rest of the cast. We love it. He's such a supportive creative in the room and always there for support or for to help us understand one of the songs or where a scene should go. He's always there. He's great.
So what you're saying is that you guys don't make Restless jokes the way I do constantly.
No, absolutely, we make Restless.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that.
No, actually, we were talking about. Yeah, Frankie said that that her boyfriend did a background check on Vinnie. Vinnie's last words to me at the audition were, "Just don't Google me."
That's true. There's some scary stuff on there.
Pierce, listen, I'll let you go. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you guys so much.
Is wonderful stuff.
Come see the show. We're at the Snapple Theater Center every Saturday at 4:45.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Pierce.
Now, Vinnie, more importantly than the guys you work with, your wife, who really is up for sainthood. What happened?
With a saint.
What happened when you came home one day from your comedy job, and you said, "You know what? I want to write a musical, and I want to write a musical about death." Please explain.
I remember it like yesterday. I came home from that comedy factory where we were mass producing comedy. Actually, I kept it to myself for a while, and then I remember when I had a demo. Actually, Eric Garner, I believe, may have done one of the first demos of 19, and it came out beautiful. And I played that with Debbie, so I played it in context, so it didn't sound like such a ridiculous idea where, hey, I'm thinking of doing this. I had some proof in the form of that demo. But at the time, it wasn't even like a show. It was, okay, well, I've written this song inspired by this, and then it slowly started to grow. So I think really it kind of snuck up on her.
But Vinnie, what did she say when you came home and said, I'm writing music about death?
She is amazing. She actually doesn't question anything. Nothing is, she thinks I could do anything. So it was that's great. And when she heard what we had, she was actually encouraging me to pursue it. She's been great the whole time.
Vinnie, we have Lisa who is standing by in New York, and she wants to ask you a question, I believe.
Lisa, are you standing by or leaning by?
Hi, I'm leaning because I'm being plugged in here.
Okay.
Hi, Vinnie. How are you? Congratulations on your Broadway show.
Thank you, Lisa.
My question is, from inception to production, how long did it take you? Because I actually produced an off-Broadway show, and I understand all what you've been through, and to get it there is amazing. But just time-wise, and like, how did you cast? And
I would say
for everything.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of timelines. The idea started in 2003, but it really picked up steam in 2008 when Frankie came on board. At that point, we hadn't done any real workshops or anything like that. So I would say from 2008 it took 4 years to get to the first showcase that we did where we thought we were ready, and that involved several readings, which I'm sure you know about, where, it's hard with a musical. It's hard. It's really like one of the hardest things I think I'll ever do, because you got to get the story straight. You got to break it down. And Frankie and I spent endless hours just talking about the story, then getting it into script form, getting the music ready, getting the music. The music actually was completed ahead of the book, which is a mistake, because then when we went to the book, we realized, oh wow, some of these songs don't fit anymore. Oh my God, we need like 4 more songs. So
Vinnie,
that was kind of out of sequence.
Vinnie and Lisa and Frankie and everybody, we're going to hear Waiting, I believe, is what we have up next.
It's time you've been on a plane.
Jason, I have a bad feeling about this trip.
You are going to come home safely, and I'll be waiting right here when you do.
Waiting. That's been the story of my life. Waiting for my ex-husband to realize that he made a mistake. Waiting to hear if I finally closed the deal on that house so I could make payroll. Waiting for my kids to call.
Sometimes I think this room is the only safe place in the world.
I'm not gonna be 19 forever. I'm gonna be leaving here someday.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
I'm sorry I've been such a burden to you and Dad.
Don't talk such nonsense. I know we've had our moments, but this is a difficult time in a young person's life. You're not a teenager anymore, but not quite the adult yet. You're stuck somewhere in between, but you'll outgrow this.
1950 is going to be your year, Anita.
Our year, Jason. Next year belongs to us.
Waiting, I'm waiting.
Wedding days make our lives. Waiting, I'm waiting.
I'm still holding on for my love.
Boy, it's hard to interrupt that stuff, but
somehow you did.
And Lisa, thank you for calling in. We appreciate it.
Lisa, thank you. Our first phone call. What did we give her? A T-shirt or something? Come on.
So,
go ahead, ignore me.
Vinnie, tell me how you. Forgetting the past, right? When you sat down, you decided, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write this musical about this subject that moves me because of my family, because of DJ Wheeler, because of some pretty profound thoughts about life and death.
Right.
Where are you in the basement there at that point? How do you write this stuff?
Well, the music, the majority of songs were actually written on the New Jersey Turnpike during my commute every day back and forth into New York City, which I make on the Academy bus. I still do that. So a lot of the songs were actually written in transit back and forth, and then, fine-tuned at home, usually late at night or on the weekends when the family was sleeping. And then the actual script itself was written with Frankie. I have to tell you a funny story about that. You should pull her back on. Oh, there she is. Frankie, remember when I had this ingenious idea that
at the library?
Yeah. Steve, this is the dumbest thing I've ever. One of the dumbest. I've done a lot of dumb things. This is one of the dumbest ones. So I was on vacation and I was like, okay, we've talked about the story. We had talked about it a lot. We were ready to sit down and start kind of, breaking it down and writing, the scenes and figuring it out. And I said, you know what? We need a really good place where we could do this, like a good environment. I said, why don't we go to the New York Public Library? Let's go there because, we'll have a big table, we could think. And I realized that we could do a lot of things, but we can't talk in the library.
And you can't sing.
So we were like, okay, so Mary walks into the room. I mean, the whole thing was whispered. It was ridiculous. So we threw that out, and then we ended up just spending a lot of time on the phone talking and collaborating via Google Documents. We would just be typing from my computer.
In fact, Google should support our show, maybe even sponsor our show.
Yes, Google, where are you?
Google, if you're listening.
Google is everywhere.
Uncomfortable silence.
So, Stephen, to answer your question, we actually ended up writing the script in these sessions during my time off from work or on the weekends, either at Frankie's place, at my place, or in public libraries.
So you don't need like a piano or an instrument or something to write. You just sit down and write.
Well, for the music, there's actually an unsung hero here in Bill Hinden, and one of the first things that Frank and I did together, I would say from like 2008 to 2010, we focused a lot on the music. So that would really just be Frankie and I and Bill over at Shetler Studios or at NOLA Studios. The rehearsal spaces, very inexpensive rooms for like, you know, $15-20 an hour. It was the two of us at a piano with Bill playing. And now, because Frankie was like my partner, it was great because she could, you know, we were in the room. There was no clock. We just kept on going till the songs were fleshed out. And Bill was very, very patient with us and our methods, which are definitely unorthodox.
So, Frankie, let me ask you, is Vinnie the kind of guy who basically spent, you know, 30 some odd years in not the wrong business, because we should all be as unsuccessful as Vinnie Favale, but has he basically been on the wrong track in terms of what his true I mean, this is unbelievable music.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, it's so weird. I truly believe that he's almost like an instrument. I mean, it's like it just kind of came through him, and and this isn't the only thing he's great at. He's great at so many things. I mean, he's got so many brilliant ideas, and he's got a lot going on besides being funny and obviously a network executive. It doesn't stop there. There's always something. He always has another idea, and it's like, oh man, that's a great idea. You know, I mean, it's constant. It's not just this is the one stop where he's had a moment of brilliance and then that's it. There are several different instances where he'll say something and I'm like, oh yeah, or not even with the musical related at all. Technically, he's really great at stuff. I mean, he could be a computer repair guy. I mean, he's gifted.
Okay, so on that note,
Did you get that, Steve? Did you get all of that?
Yeah, well, now that we're sort of getting into this, you know, oh my God, this is the perfect moment to bring up, and I'm going to ask Tommy, do we have some of the Debbie material?
Yeah,
because I think this is the moment.
Abort.
This is my favorite video.
This is Tommy's favorite, and in fact, this is spectacular. So we are on.
Very good. You can press it. And
where producer media?
And it plays, and I can't wait.
But this is
which where producer here? You got to listen to this, everybody. Listen to this.
Hello, my Debbie. I've got the right kind of music for a Friday night, 3 in the morning. I love you. I love you so much, you know. It's sometimes at the end of the day, I feel like I just haven't had enough of you, you know, and I just can't wait till we're together.
Well,
hello, my Debbie.
Wow. Now, what was that, Frankie, about brilliant ideas?
I haven't seen the Debbie tapes, you know, after how many years of working with
Nobody has.
I haven't seen them. I get these little snippets, and I just like there's a acid reflux that comes up because I'm trying not to laugh. I mean, it's just those are classic. I would never.
Oh, look at that! Oh my Debbie, I love you so much.
Cutest picture in the middle, though. I gotta say, I love.
That's our engagement
Debbie
picture.
in stripes. Let me go on record and on the air. Debbie needs to wear stripes every day.
Okay, so real quick, Vinny, who is Debbie?
Who is Debbie?
Yeah.
She's the most amazing person in the world. She's my lovely wife.
Oh my God!
And she's also, you know, the great thing, the most incredible thing about Debbie, one of the many things, is that she actually let Frankie and I take her story, her relationship with her mom, which is a big part of Hereafter. The Debbie character and the Sippy character are based on Debbie, my wife, and my mother-in-law, Sippy. And I have to add that one of the funniest scenes in the show, that Sippy, my mother-in-law, her entrance scene was written largely by Frankie. And she's never met her, and she captured her beautifully.
Aw, no, go on. No,
Look,
really.
Steve is stunned. He doesn't know what to make of this.
So when did you record that atrocity on camera?
Oh my God! You're hysterical. Okay, timeline-wise, Restless, the other atrocity I was involved in, happened, I would say, 3 years before that. So that was 1984.
So the Debbie tape was in 1984.
Oh my God, this is the 30th anniversary of the Debbie tapes this year.
I mean, it's perfect because 1984, Orwell, you know, I mean, it really was just the end of times, right? I mean, It's sad.
What an association you just made there. Absolutely. Yeah, that was 30 years ago. And if you notice, I cropped that video, the full version, full screen. You would have seen me in my tidy whities. So you could thank me for cropping that.
Thank you for that.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you, Vinny, for cropping.
But Vinny, it's not like this is original what we're doing here. I mean, the fact is, your stuff has been exposed, so to speak, ad nauseum on the Howard Stern Show for decades now, right?
Right, that's true. I revealed a lot on the show because I love that show, and a lot influenced by Howard, because one of the reasons that show is so successful and Howard is so brilliant is that he was full disclosure. He's the most transparent celebrity out there.
And,
so there.
And he knows great stuff when he sees it.
God damn it. Hi.
Okay, so let's hear a little. You know, I don't know whether we can actually do it while we're listening to it technically, but I was singing like a wild man, and which may or may not be a.
What song?
Well, all the song, the entire soundtrack on the way up here. Let's hear Life again, Life and Death.
Wait.
They need an answer, they need a sign. They need to know if they're wasting their time.
Please tell me now, I have regrets.
I don't know the words, Vinny and Frankie, but I may once we get
They're
to
on the screen, Steve.
And you guys sing along too. I can't help myself.
I'll wait on that. I'll hold my breath.
It's a matter of no. Life and death. Oh, with the dreams we can't forget.
Steve.
Yes.
Steve.
Yeah. Is that my Debbie tape?
Hey, Steve, could you play a little of Someday? Do you have anything from that?
Yeah, give me 1 minute.
It's gonna. Yeah, we want to. I want to play the whole thing.
What was it? What were you looking for?
Someday.
Someday.
Okay.
Someday. It's gonna take a minute.
And if you have a snippet of video from the current performance from Snapple Theater, I think I sent you that one. That's the one that we're doing right now.
Tell us about the Snapple production right now. What's going on with that?
It's beautiful. We're so proud of it. We're up every Saturday at 4:30 at the Snapple Theater on Broadway and 50th Street. Go to hereaftermusical.com for ticket information. The show was fantastic. It's 2 hours of jam-packed entertainment. You'll cry. You'll cry.
You'll laugh.
You'll cry. You'll laugh. We just lost Steve again, Frankie.
I have so much that I need to ask you about, but Tommy, is there somebody we need to a caller we need to
wants to ask? To Julia on W.
Julia, we want to talk to Julia. You are in Orangeburg, New York. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, Julia.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I understand why you're inspired to write the story, but I was wondering why specifically you wanted to do a musical as opposed to a film.
Oh, because I think the great thing about musical theater or theater in general, you have like instant gratification. You could write it and then put it on and get the audience reaction right there. If this had been a film, I think you just get one shot at it, and if you don't get it right, you have to live with that. And our show has evolved a lot over the years. We've actually changed it significantly in the last 4 years. And with a film, we wouldn't have had that option.
Right. Cool.
Have you seen it?
No, not yet.
Come see it. Where is Orangeburg?
It's like 20 minutes outside.
Oh my God.
Where is she?
Steve, I can't hear you.
Steve, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. To answer your question, Julia is up in Rockland County, where we are right now. But,
hey, Julia.
But Vinny, you have, if I may,
a headache?
Invested a lot of your own money in this thing?
Yes. I like the way your voice went down. Yes, I think that's not. Let's not tell anyone who's watching a significant amount that my poor wife has put a lot of stuff aside for this. Maybe someday I'll be able to buy her a coat. But yes, I think it's money well spent. But, well, Steve just left. He's back. Steve, I know the feeling.
No, listen, it's all for a good cause, because someday we found it. We found Someday, now, and let's hear it. Now, Vinnie and Frankie, is that from the current production?
No. Would it kill you to find something from the Snapple?
Hey, what do you think this is? Prime Time Live?
Go to the YouTube channel. There's a playlist, and it says Snapple, and you'll see there's some stuff there.
I'll look for that.
Absolutely, we're going to look for it.
Okay, good.
Vinnie, switching gears in terms of mood here.
Like you have a headache, Steve.
Vinnie, your family connection to this very profound subject.
Yes.
You had 2 brothers.
Yes. I have 4 brothers. 2 have passed away.
Can you tell me about that?
Well, my oldest and youngest brother, my oldest brother Johnny, and my youngest brother Frankie passed away a little less than 2 years apart in the early 70s. And that kind of stayed with me it stayed with me it's been with me forever, obviously. But the feelings were stirred up, the feelings of loss were stirred up by DJ Wheeler's passing, because when I read the account of how he died, and the family left behind 2 sisters, and Erin and Allie, and I identified a lot with them and what they were going through, to losing a sibling.
So, without prying too much, I mean, one of your brothers died in an accident. Is that correct?
Yeah, he died in an accident. The other one died of cancer. So, and then one of the things that when I first spoke to Frankie, we talked about the show. Frankie shared with me that she had lost 2 siblings, and her mom at an early, when Frankie was young, her mom passed away. And, so we sadly bonded over our losses, which, by the way, one of the things that makes, I think, the show so special, it's a subject matter that, as our director, Terry Berliner, said, everyone will have an opinion on. She's done a lot of shows, but this is the one show where the subject matter, everyone has an opinion on. So as tragic as our losses were and still are to us, we don't own that. Like, everyone has that, and everyone.
It's funny you should say that. And Frankie,
hysterical.
I did not know. I did not know about this about your family background. And so I want to ask you because Vinnie, you say everybody has an opinion on this. I'll confess, I don't think about the hereafter. I've never thought about the hereafter. It's not something that even intellectually stimulates me whatsoever. It's never really occurred to me. And yet I am such an unbelievable fan of this musical. And so it's probably the music itself, which I find very moving.
Well, the music is an easy way into, I think, a difficult subject matter. Right, Frank? You think?
Yeah, I mean, I think some people, maybe you're not one of those people, but I think some people identify with a certain character, whether it's imagining, God, what would it be like if I lost my child, or how hard would it be to say goodbye to your mother on her deathbed, or whatever the case may be. And I think as we get older, or if you ever have an illness, you start to think about, who you're leaving behind, and you start to kind of wonder, what is there past this point? I mean, we all know tomorrow's not promised, and eventually we all, will leave, but,
Let's Steve right now. Steve's leaving.
Yeah.
Steve,
I'm sorry.
Steve,
Just trying
you
to
mean to tell
run the
me you
mothership
don't
along with my
Question
friends.
for you, Steve.
What's that, Vinny?
You really don't contemplate your mortality? You don't think about stuff like this?
It has never occurred to me. I was thinking on the way up. I'm sitting, driving up here hearing this music, singing this music, loving this music, and I thought to myself, but the idea of the hereafter, the just contemplate, it just never occurred to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I had your brain. I could sleep better.
Listen, there are plenty of things to worry about, but that's not one of them. I don't know. For me,
what do you think happens when you die? What are you, True Blood? You just keep on going? What do you think?
I have not a clue. But if you can explain it to me, and frankly, you two could probably explain it better than anybody, I guess.
Oh, I don't know. I think
the question, Steve. I mean, what's your take on mediums then? I mean, when they're able to connect with the other side, do you believe in that, or do you kind of go?
Well, listen, I'm a reporter, so I tend not to. It's the old slogan in my business: if your mother tells you she loves you, check your sources.
Steve, you're hysterical.
Well, I think it has to be something that is going to happen to you personally, and that's the only way you're going to get closure on this internal struggle of the hereafter.
Okay, we got Jackie in Grandview, New York,
Jackie.
And
Frankie.
Hey, Jackie.
And Jackie wants to ask a question.
Hi guys. I find myself getting emotional as I'm listening to how personal the storyline is for both of you, and I'm wondering, as you created the musical and the storyline behind it, was it somewhat of a healing process for you, or was it almost like reliving some of the grief? Like, how did that feel personally?
I think it's both. I think, for me anyway, we've both taken personal things out of our own life that have actually come to life in the show, whereas certain characters will say certain things that have really happened in both my life and Vinny's life. So it's a bit cathartic in that regard. And I think as far as getting any kind of closure doing the show, I would say that actually comes from people coming up after the show saying that a weight has been lifted, that they are so touched by the show that they're able to move on. And that, to me, even if I were never to get any kind of closure, if I was having that internal struggle, that to me would be that would be my gift, which is a gift because it keeps happening every week.
Okay, Jackie, listen, thank you for that call. We got a selection here of we're going to put up. We've got a number of these things, Vinny and Frankie. Which one should we?
This is the playlist you said to bring up. I just don't.
Oh, do Hereafter musical at the Snapple Theater.
Okay, so we are going to let's listen to this for a second. Let me ask you two, DJ Wheeler's family, who made the personal connection? Did you meet with the family, and what was their reaction to, I guess, hearing that there was this man in one of the towns nearby who wanted to write a musical about this?
Am I the man in that equation? Yeah. It turned out we had a mutual friend with the Wheeler family. And when they heard the song 19, this is well in advance of the show being written, just really that song specifically, they said, you have to share it with them. And I'm like, I don't know that I was nervous because I didn't want anyone to think we were exploiting it in any way. I felt very awkward doing it. But I was really looking forward to meeting with them. I wanted to meet, especially Aaron and Allie. So we arranged for them to come over one night, and I shared it with them, and it was a lot of tears and a lot of hugs, and it was incredible. And they have blessed this from the very first day. Have been, I think, our biggest fans. To be honest with you, they've been
Vinny and Frankie,
all the versions.
as I suspected. I hate to interrupt. As I suspected, we have run out of time. I could talk about Hereafter the musical forever, and I will. But
you'll
if
just
anybody,
be in your car.
For people who want to go see it, it's at the Snapple Theater on weekends, Saturdays, indefinitely.
Ticket information at hereaftermusical.com.
You too. Thanks for doing this. Unbelievable stuff. Hereafter the musical. The music is incredible. Vinnie Favale from Restless to unbelievable stuff. Thank you.
At the intersection of social and mass media, TV and the web, this is the Video Call Center.